Is the beer you're drinking actually Kiwi anymore? You walk into a pub, you order a Speight's, a Steinlager, a Lion Red, the labels feel familiar. The names feel local, the history feels New Zealand. But here's the part most people don't stop to ask. Who actually owns the company behind the tap? Because Lion, one of New Zealand's oldest and most influential beer producers, is no longer New Zealand owned at all. And it hasn't been for a long time. Lion's story doesn't start in a boardroom, it starts in the late 1800s, when beer in New Zealand was fiercely regional. Auckland drank Lion and Captain Cook. Dunedin drank Speight's. Christchurch drank Ward's. Every town backed its own brewery, and loyalty mattered. Then came the threat no one could outbrew: Prohibition. By the early 1920s, temperance movements were gaining real momentum. Breweries were under pressure, margins were tight, and competition was brutal. So in 1923, something unprecedented happened. 10 rival breweries, including Speight's, Ward's, Lion, and Captain Cook, merged into one defensive giant. New Zealand Breweries Limited. This wasn't about domination, it was about survival. That single merger quietly reshaped New Zealand's beer industry for the next century. For decades, New Zealand breweries grew into the dominant force. In 1977, the northern operations rebranded as Lion Breweries. Behind the scenes, consolidation replaced rivalry, efficiency replaced tradition, and decisions became increasingly corporate. And some icons nearly didn't survive it. In the 1980s, Speight's Brewery in Dunedin was labelled inefficient and poorly run by senior leadership. Closure was seriously considered. What stopped it wasn't performance data. It was public backlash. Speight's cultural status saved it. Then came one of the most controversial corporate deals in New Zealand history. In 1988, Lion Breweries merged with LD Nathan and Company, the country's largest retailer and hospitality operator at the time. The deal created Lion Nathan and exploded into outrage. Major shareholder Fay Richwhite received a massive cash premium per share, while other shareholders got Lion shares worth far less. Accusations of favouritism followed. Shareholders revolted. Boardrooms burned. The timing, right after the 1987 market crash, only made it worse. The deal still went through. And Lion Nathan didn't slow down. Through the 1990s, it expanded aggressively into Australia, acquiring major brewing assets including Tooheys, Castlemaine Perkins, Hahn Brewing, and South Australian Brewing. Some of these companies were larger than Lion itself. This was high-stakes expansion, bold, risky, and transformative. Then ownership shifted again. In 1998, Japanese brewing giant Kirin bought a major stake in Lion Nathan. In 2009, Kirin completed a full takeover for around 3.3 to 3.5 billion Australian dollars, turning Lion into a wholly owned subsidiary of a global corporation. At that moment, one of New Zealand's most historic beer companies stopped being New Zealand owned. Production stayed local, the branding stayed familiar, but the control moved offshore, and the impacts weren't theoretical. After the 2011 Christchurch earthquakes, Lion's historic Ward's Brewery, with more than 130 years of history, was badly damaged. In 2012, Lion closed it permanently, consolidating production elsewhere. Jobs were lost. A brewing city lost its brewery. Then in 2020, a ransomware cyber attack shut down Lion's production systems nationwide, including Speight's in Dunedin. It owns Speight's, Steinlager, Lion Red, Max, Panhead, Emerson's, and more, and has expanded into wine, cider, spirits, coffee, and hospitality. In 2024, Lion celebrated 100 years since that original 1923 merger, branding itself as a Kiwi success story. But here's the real question. When a company is brewed here, branded here, consumed here, but owned, controlled, and ultimately directed from overseas, how local is it really? So next time you order a pint, ask yourself, are you drinking a New Zealand beer or a global product with a Kiwi accent? If this made you think differently about what's in your glass, like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment, because knowing who owns your beer matters more than most people realise.